In this example, I need to solve the problem 7 minus the quantity 5 minus 8x equals 4x plus 3. Well, what type of problem is it? It has an equals in it, therefore it's an equation. And what's the highest exponent on any of our variables? It's a 1. So it's a linear equation. And in the steps for solving linear equation, the first thing to do is to clear any denominators. Well, I don't have any in this case. The next thing to do is to clear any parentheses by using the distributive property. So that's what I'm going to have to do to start with. Now, please be careful. In this example, I just have a negative in front of my parentheses. This is one that students get wrong a lot of the time. So I find it easier if I tell them there's a -1 in front of there, and that is what we're going to distribute into the parentheses. So I'm going to get 7, then -1 times 5 is -5. -1 times -8x is positive 8x, as a negative times a negative is a positive, equals 4x plus 3. One way to check if you've done this correctly is, have you flipped both of these signs? I went from positive 5 to a -5 and -8x to positive 8x. That's what distributing a negative into a parentheses does. It changes the signs of all the terms in the parentheses. So now we need to look on this side. Can I simplify anything? Do I have any like terms? Yes, 7 minus 5. So 7 minus 5 is 2. So I have 2 plus 8x equals 4x plus 3. So now, do I have any like terms here? No, unlike terms can't combine. Unlike terms can't combine on the right-hand side. So now I need to get x's on one side, constants on the other. I think I'm going to collect my x's on the left-hand side, but you get the correct answer if you collected them on the right-hand side too. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. And the reason I do that is 4x minus 4x adds to 0 on the right-hand side. So on the right-hand side, the only thing I get left with is 3. And on the left, I get 2 plus 8x minus 4x is 4x. Notice when I do this, I line up like terms to make my life easy. Now I've got to get rid of the 2, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. The reason I do that is 2 minus 2 is 0, so I get left with 4x on the left-hand side equals 3 minus 2 is 1. So now the last step, get x by itself, divide both sides by 4. These 4's reduce, so I just get left with x equals 1/4. So that is my answer. And don't panic, the answer can be a fraction. It doesn't mean you've done something wrong. Now, say in this example, I wanted to check my answer. You plug 1/4 in here and here into the original equation. So I'm going to get 7 minus the quantity 5 minus 8x, so it's 5 minus 8 times x, which is 1/4. And since 1/4 is a fraction, I'm going to turn 8 into a fraction to make my life easier, equals 4x, so it's 4 over 1 times 1/4, because remember, x is 1/4, plus 3. So 4 reduces with the 8 twice, so I'm going to get 7 minus 5 minus 2 times 1 is 2 over 1, 2 divided by 1 is 2, equals, these 4's reduce, 1 plus 3. We've got to see if this is a true statement. So 7 minus 5 minus 2 is 3, should equal 1 plus 3 is 4. 7 minus 3 is 4. Does 4 equal 4? Yes, so you know you have the answer correct.